Good morning, I'm out light walking in Santa Clara, California, and this is your new Namaste Today. Good morning, my friends, and Namaste, and welcome to the new Namaste Today. My name is stepº Witecki. I'm a psychic astrologer, and I call myself the Sensei to Sirius Joy. That's because I aim to be a bright light in my heart, and Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, so that's where I aim to be, is seriously bright. Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone for their comments yesterday and their love and moral support. That really was very helpful to me. You know what I mean? I found in the last 24 hours since making that video that now I feel very vulnerable and exposed, which I think is all natural. My, sensei side knows that this is how it works. But, having to be going through it oneself is, so radically real. And it's interesting because I'm going to talk about today, in today's reading, I already have kind of my theories on, I think, why I'm feeling exposed. Maybe you are feeling exposed too. And that has to do with these last stages of the sun in Cancer. So I'm out on a love fest light walk, all my terms scrambling in my own mouth. In fact, I'm in a park in Santa Clara, California. If you'll notice, it's very dry here. And indeed, California is in need of water. And this is how it is, really. It's very dry, and this is why we have fires here, because this is already, it's only July, and it's already dry like one might suspect at the very end of August in the old days. So, not a good situation with water. Going to do a rain dance here after I wrap. But first, let's look at today's reading, and I'm going to look at the chart really for the first time and talk to my guide. So, 1 second. So, right now we're wrapping up the sun in Cancer, and today we're at step 28 Cancer through the day. Step 28 is basically the step where we hold, and this is what manifests. Now, this is kind of interesting because it all comes in a full circle for me too. My guides want to talk mostly about the step 28, the sun, because this is about manifesting a new tone. This is about manifesting a general tone that you take all the time in your life and deciding that you emotionally want to manifest this tone. So you're coming up with the high tone. This is the high tone. This is the tone I want to aim for. We talk about emotional tone. There's so much that goes into tone, how you get to work, what you're treated like all day. So when we decide on a tone, a lot of energy goes with that decision. And so today people are literally making a decision about what tone they want and what tone they don't want. Now, what came up when I was talking to my guides there behind the scenes was has to do actually with the difference between a decision and protection. And I'm noticing that in my own experiences, and I think to get the astrological citation, right now the sun in late Cancer is trining Saturn at 28 degrees Scorpio. In fact, today, there's a discovery right on camera, they're dead trining. That's exactly, so that means that today, as you make a decision about an emotional tone, you are also setting a very deep emotional rule that will last for 30 years. And that is Saturn that has returned back to Scorpio. And that actually was what I want to talk about, is I think Saturn retrograde in Scorpio, astrological citation, is the reason why I'm personally feeling very vulnerable, why I personally decided to still, try to be more real and more myself. And of course, this is part of, I think, Jupiter and Leo. I have a Leo rising. But I also think, 30 years ago when Saturn was in Scorpio, which for me was my childhood and my parents going through divorce is what happened in Saturn and Scorpio. And that has basically shaped my black and white world emotionally. I think all of us in that late nuclear era made emotional boundary decisions very deep inside of us. These could have been fight or flight decisions. These could have been decisions that were the best and smartest decision at the time about where your personal limits were. For myself, I'm sitting here realizing that I, of course, in some ways made myself overly vulnerable to the public. And in some ways at that time, I made myself shut down from the ability to be intimate and close. So, it can go both ways. I find that it's not black or white, but it's black or white within different departments of your life. So today, as the sun is trining Saturn at step 28, you are dialectically making a very powerful pronunciation of your soul's intentions on Earth. You are emotionally electrifying the Earth's magnetic grid with your personal identity mark, and you are moving forward with your passionate growth now. This is a turning point from the old rules, is what my guides are. They told me to look at Pluto. So Pluto at step 13 is a turning point from the old rules. The people of the Earth are now going to be creating new rules as they see fit, hopefully using more than just logic and reason, but also their hearts and their feelings. So as you create this new emotional tone, realize that you are creating it for the new land that many of your hearts all believed you were here to create. Many people here know they are here for a special mission. This moment is an emotional moment for you, if you resonate with this, to put your energetic foot down and decide that you belong on a higher or different tone. By deciding and committing to this higher tone, you will find that the rest of the details and worry are swashed out and washed out. They bring me now to Venus. Venus is at step 0, Virgo. So this means that we are basically creating with this new emotional tone how you want to receive from the universe in the future. Perhaps you have received only from begging. Perhaps you have received only from sacrificing yourself. Perhaps you have received from handouts. Perhaps you have received by taking from others. Whatever you have received from was part of your emotional tone matrix that you were born with, and this is a moment to actually step out of that nature of receiving. So for clarity, the emotional tone might be chosen by actually listening to where you want to receive attention from. That is the direction, that is the way. Where your heart lights up from, that is the direction, that is the way. And let those tones set the impression and decide and commit to those tones. Then with Saturn and Scorpio, they're pointing at me now, it's important to realize that you are gelling together emotional commitments that will have to be personally policed by you for a while, up through Sun in Scorpio, they tell me, until it gels completely. So you must, treat these new emotional boundaries and this new emotional tone with gentle care, like a newborn baby, because for many, particularly those who will be moving now onto a spiritual mission with Saturn and Sagittarius later on, this emotional tone is vital to that future success. Chiron at step 21 retrograde does mean that for everyone to heal on the planet, there must be now a complete forgive and forget of all of your quote-quote sins. Know that judgment and the shadow of Chiron is merely relativity. So when we become 100% opposite of where we were once, we now are in the shadow of the event. And it feels dark because it is the opposite of the shadow event. All of us now must bring light to our shadows and completely forgive and forget anything that has brought us on our path, because sometimes people do not shed emotional tone because they are judging themselves and still hanging themselves on the cross, which is a bad image to think about. That's not how Creator does it. Everyone is already forgiven from the beginning, and Creator already knows how the story ends. So it is about forgiveness to wrap up today's personal sensei and kind of astro reading and channeling. Today is a day, therefore, where you are creating an emotional tone in your life. You are making a decision about this emotional tone, and for many this emotional tone is absolutely necessary in order to move on to the true light mission that you know you're here to do, which is known with Saturn and Sagittarius coming up. Regardless of a feel of a mission or not, everyone on Earth is invited, they say, to open up and heal from your past and let the pains of your sorrows be gone once and for all. This is an option, they say, for everyone always, but particularly now, a lot of emotional baggage can be left behind forever. And forever means forever in the absolute. So I think that's it. That's what feels very solid now. The moon is in Virgo for half the day, so it's going to feel very, very real. And then as the moon shifts into Libra, we'll be very sensitive and we'll be going back and forth and delicate. It'll also cross the North Node. So it's really about finding not just the emotional tone, but finding an operating philosophy each moment to kind of stay balanced. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining me in the new Namaste today. If this was noisy due to wind, pardon the noise. And come on down to my new website, soulgarden.tv, and you can register to become a member. When you do, you'll get access to the Psychic Lounge, where I post extra videos and extra footage. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for your moral and loving support. I'm so grateful to be of service, and I'll see you tomorrow with more. Live, love, be.